Hello there, my YouTube friends and fans. What have I been up to the last few days? Well, it is this game called Sengoku Dynasty. I was a huge fan of Medieval Dynasty, but this game is still in early access, so I don't have huge expectations. I actually did wait for a few months before getting this early access game, but I finally decided to get it because I heard they added a lot of stuff to it, so it's definitely worth playing it. And here I go. So the loading takes a really long time. I literally could cook dinner in the time this game loads. But again, it's an early access game. So once you start in third person, which is something that disappointed me because I was like, I don't want to play this in third person. Medieval Dynasty was in first person. And I personally prefer first person games because it makes me feel like I'm playing as myself instead of shoving a character in front of me the whole time. So I was like, this can't be that this is only third person. But how do you actually change to first person? And I actually had to look this up and finally figured it out. It's actually just a touch of a button, which is really nice. So you can quickly change if you ever needed to switch to third person, because there are situations where maybe it could be beneficial. But look at that. It's so beautiful. I can now imagine I'm actually there and not some character in front of me. And I can see my own shadow. That's exactly how I love to play games. And while this game could be considered a cozy game, it isn't really that, because it is not as laid back as it looks like, because it is a management game. So you have to act as a manager of your village, which keeps you on your toes at all times. And there's a lot of work to be done to just play this game correct. And since it's been a long time since I played Medieval Dynasty, I really needed those little tutorials here. I just couldn't remember anymore. Not that this game is exactly the same, but it's very, very similar. You can see how you can upgrade your skills. Then you have the quest tab. Then you have the Dynasty Management tab. This is where you do all the management. This is what you probably spent the most time in. You have a map, and then you have the slots with all the stuff that you can carry in your hand, and you can swap between all the different weapons and tools as you walk around in the world. And then it can be confusing at the beginning, but you have a second wheel, which is actually your crafting wheel. So I kept confusing those two at the beginning a lot, crafting things when I actually just wanted to swap my tool or weapon. But you get used to it, and then you go and chop down your first tree. And I have to say, Medieval Dynasty was the very first game where I actually saw a tree fall, like, very realistically, and I was so intrigued by it. I was like, this is so cool. This looks so cool. I like the animation, and they have the exact same here. In the meantime, other games have done that too. In the beginning, you have to help a couple of people, which also helps you learn some things that you need to know for the game. You are being told to find a place for your first village, and of course I am very picky always where my village goes. And in this game, apparently you can do more than one village. In Medieval Dynasty, you could only do one, or at least that's what I always thought. I feel like it's a lot of work to keep one maintained, so I can't even imagine having two. But anyway, I finally found this beautiful hill here, and I was like, wow, this is where my village is going to be. I like to be high up, and I want to have a view. So this is where I decided to do it. And what you have to do first is you have to build a so-called bell tower, which marks the spot of your village. And it quickly got dark. I had to find some more resources, but my bell tower is finally up. My new village has been founded, I was told. So now I had to make a fire and cook some food so I didn't die of starvation. And then, of course, I also had to build a shelter so I could sleep. Sleeping is not necessarily really in this game. You can go without sleeping and it doesn't affect your health as far as I know. And yeah, I finally found a flat spot where I could put my shelter, and that was the beginning of my village and the end of my first day. I was super excited. You can set how many hours you want to sleep. You can sleep in or be an early riser, whatever. Yeah, in real life, I would probably sleep in, but in this game, I'm an early riser because there's lots to do. And I was super excited to start on my first house, and I thought maybe I'm just gonna build my village around this bell tower. This could be the centerpiece. So I thought, okay, let's put my first house right here close to this bell tower and then see where we go from there. But I also realized that there could be a little bit of a problem with building on a hill. And yeah, once my house was done, I realized that I could not have the stairs like that, and then quickly found out that you can actually relocate any building, and that's exactly what I did. So I basically just rotated the house so the entrance was on the hill, and in the back I just had it on stilts, which, yeah, worked really well for me. I was very, very happy with that. I was like, wow, I have now all the windows looking at the view and the entrance is in the back. This is exactly what I wanted. And so I learned that that's how I have to build the houses on the hill. And when I was exploring the area around my village, I found out that I have a bear colony pretty close by, and that was my first experience with a bear in this game, and it didn't end up going so well. So when you respawn, you spawn in third person again, which is like, why? But yeah, again, I'm not going to complain. It is an early access game. Hopefully they fix that when the game comes out, because I do not want to play in third person. I said so at the beginning. Anyway. So the first production building that you can build is the workshop. This is where you can craft a lot of things that you cannot just craft with your bare hands. So I decided to do that right away, and I just needed to find a good spot for it. I wanted to make sure that the village didn't look so boring, kind of add a little bit of interest to it, maybe put it at an angle or so. But again, I had a really hard time with this hill, and it takes a little bit of creativity to kind of get it right and kind of learn how you can place the houses. So you could definitely place them on an angle like so, or you could just, again, do it where just the entrance is looking at the hill, and I decided to just go with that build again, but in a little bit of different location. And so I started my work on this construction. When I was finally done with the workshop, look at how awesome it is. I got this working table now, and I have storage in here. It was time for me to go and have some dinner and go to sleep in my own house for the first time. Eight hours sounds like a very good amount of time because I'm tired. So the getting up in the morning is still a little bit clumsy here, but I'm pretty sure that's gonna improve too once the game comes out. But look at this beautiful morning. I absolutely love the scenery here. They did a really fantastic job with that. And about 35 hours later, after doing a bunch of quests and exploring the whole world, I have completed my village, mostly completed it. The only thing that's really missing is a brewery and a tavern. But I got 30 people here in this village. The population is 30. And everyone is working together to make a living here, which is not easy because you've got to balance everything because everyone is dependent on each other. Look at this view here. Isn't it gorgeous? And this is a tower that I built. This is one of the many things that you can build in the world. You can build bridges and towers and more. And this took 3 seasons to complete. I had 4 workers on this. That was pretty insane. And look at the view from up here. This actually does remind me of my travels in Kyoto, where you have like a similar view when you're up on one of the temples. So that's pretty amazing. Look at how big the world is. I hope though that the world is going to get bigger once the game is done. And so let's go take a look at the village. I have my little paper factory here, or paper production building. I haven't assigned any workers to this yet because it's quite complicated. There's a lot of resources needed. And I didn't want to spend too much time here in the early access. I mean, too much more time. I spend already a lot of time in this game because it is definitely super addictive. This is actually the Hunter's Lodge here. And then I had to put this fence up here because the bears kept coming into our village. And then here we have the food storage. This here is the kitchen. This is where I can tell him like all the meals that he has to make for us. And drinks, obviously. And he also does medicine. So it's very important to keep people happy, to keep them well fed and everything. And they also want to be warm. So we have to provide firewood and everything. And you have to actually make sure that one of your workers, or each worker actually provides for the village. So it's hard to balance, but that's the fun of the game. So here we have the forager's workshop. And then all those other small buildings are where people live. I had to build lots of them. And so here's the center of the village. We have a little well here where we get water from, and our bell tower. And then here's the workshop. This is the very first production building I built, as you remember from the beginning of the video. Another person's house, and here we have our wood storage. And then here we have the tanner, so we can make leather. This is a little weird, this building with the stairs, but I left it like this. Here we have the fisherman, so that's where they process the fish. Here's our wood cutter. That's where we get our logs from, and more. And then down here we have the smithy, which is where we can make iron, or actually, yeah, iron and steel tools, mostly steel tools and weapons. And then we have a little farm plot here. I had a hard time actually making farm plots here. Made one first here because this is not flat land. So yeah, I learned it is very, very challenging to work on a hill, or actually build on a hill. And I feel like fields can definitely be on a hill. You know, like for example, wine fields are on a hill. So I hope that when the game is done that they can maybe allow that, and also make it a little bit easier for the buildings. Maybe that you even can flatten the terrain, like make it more like in a staircase shape. So you could actually have a flat area and still be on a hill. That would be great. But again, you know, this is early access, so I have no complaints about this game. I just feel like there is definitely things that are lacking. Yeah, animals would be great. What we have in Medieval Dynasty also is that you could see the skills of the workers, so you can assign the right person to the right job. And so you don't actually have to look for people like in Medieval Dynasty. They actually come to you, like this guy. He's just standing here hoping that I'm going to talk to him, which I will. So I will invite him to live with us. But that means that I need to also have a bed for him, and I have to have a job for him. And as you can see, all my people are angry. I haven't found out yet why, because they have everything. They have food, water, housing, jobs. They're never happy. I never had this problem in Medieval Dynasty, but I feel like that's probably also something that will be fixed. I think the requirements are too high, or I don't know what's going on. But anyway, so now you can select a job. You can see if you have any open jobs. The other thing that I found is that you cannot have two people work the same job, which is a little bit of a bummer because in Medieval Dynasty, I needed 2 and 3 people for some of the jobs to get enough resources because one person alone just can't handle some of the requirements. We need a lot of logs, we need a lot of sticks, we need a lot of food, we need a lot of water, and sometimes it would be nice to have 2 people. But anyway, again, that's probably something that will change. I'm not such a fan of this layout here, the design, the UI for this. This was a little bit better in Medieval Dynasty, and also the map. Yeah, the map. The map is not great, but I am pretty sure it will get a lot better because there's not much information on this map. But what's new is that you can fast travel in this game, something you couldn't do in Medieval Dynasty, something I didn't actually find out until I was about 25 hours into the game. I was like, whoa, what is this? You can fast travel? That's so awesome. Because I used to just walk and walk and walk. But on the other hand, you also see a lot more if you don't fast travel. So if you fast travel, you go to your bell tower, select one of the towns, hit accept, and then you wait a little bit and a little bit more. I feel like this could be a different screen, but a black screen. And then you are all of a sudden in a completely different place on the map, far away from your village. This is actually another village. There are people that need your help. You can also build bridges for them. You can buy stuff from them. There's a lot of traders in the villages. You can sell stuff to make money. You can learn from them. You can go hunting with them. There's a lot of really fun stuff to do. Basically, just, you know, what I'm trying to do, I usually collect a lot of shells, and my villagers have found a lot of pearls, so I try to sell those. Unfortunately, the traders don't usually have a lot of money, so you can't sell a lot. We've got a guy with a funny hat here. And then you can go back to the bell tower if you feel like, oh, I didn't mean to come to this village, or I'm done here, I want to go to the next village, or I just want to go back home. Wow, we're back home already. I just went to another village to make a sale, and I am already back here. So that's definitely nice. I like that a lot. So the other thing you can do, you can change the season here. This is something I usually don't do, and I never did in Medieval Dynasty because the season automatically changes every 5 days. But if you're like impatient and you want to just get to spring for some reason or to summer for some reason, you can do that after, I think, 3 days. You can change the season. And I just did that now because I wanted to show you how this looks like in spring. I mean, that's kind of how the video started, but that's how the full village looks in spring. There's still a lot that I could do to this village, but I don't want to spend more time in this game until it's actually completed, because I want to see all the stuff that could be done. I feel like we should also be able to have families, you know, with kids like we had in Medieval Dynasty, as I mentioned before. Animals, I hope we can like ride a horse. I also feel it'd be great if we actually could do fishing ourselves, which is not possible right now. You have to hire a worker to act as a fisherman, but look how beautiful this is. Huh? This is all the sakura. And then you can just kind of look around. You can forage, which is awesome. You can go find all the things for food, like mushrooms and flowers and vegetables. And there's so much potential in this game. I feel like this game right now is a diamond in the rough, pretty much. I feel there could be a lot more vegetation. It's a little bare sometimes. There could be streets too, you know, cobblestone streets that we should be able to make or build. We should be able to be like maybe in a boat. That'd be cool to have like a rowing boat or so we can go like fishing on the boat. I feel like fishing should be a fun activity, not something that you could just assign a worker to. And then, yeah, what I do a lot here is just kind of go look for shells. That's kind of fun. The graphics are definitely wonderful in this game. It's just that you can see that it's an early access because it is a little bit flat still. And with that, I mean, it doesn't offer much of an eye candy in variety. And I feel like I can't wait for this game to come out because I know it will be great. But I just wanted to make this little video for people who are unsure about this game. You can definitely start playing this game now. There's plenty to do. You have to be careful because this guy is not a bandit. He is actually a refugee. No, he doesn't actually need my help at all. But you can also find refugees just on the way by walking around. I think down here we have a bandit. And sometimes you have to kind of walk close. I'm just gonna like pick some shells. He hasn't attacked me, so maybe he's not a bandit. Let me get another shell. Oh, I love doing that. Let's go a little closer. Yeah, he's a bandit. So the bandit movements are still the same like in Medieval Dynasty. I really hope they improve this. It's a little dorky how it was before. They just kind of run at you and stab you with their spear. You can't really do close combat because the spear doesn't let you. They just grab you with the spear before you can get close to them. But I usually just use the bow. And in this case, he's like not even coming into the water, which is something that's, yeah, it should be a little bit more realistic. And then you can loot them. So that's what I did a lot in Medieval Dynasty. I got a lot of money and a lot of really good stuff, usually from just looting bandit camps. This was just one bandit. Sometimes there's 3 and 4 bandits. And you can get a lot of good stuff from them. And they have this like beautiful location here, which really blew my mind, where you also have to build a bridge so you can actually get to that shrine up there. But this is bugged right now because you need like an item that you can't get in this early access version. And so I couldn't really continue on this build at all, which was a little bit sad because I really wanted to get to that shrine over there. But that's okay. It makes just for one more thing to look forward to when the game comes out. And what I like to do so much in games like this is literally just explore. I always do that way before I'm probably supposed to go and see those locations, but I can never wait to see all the locations. Whenever I play a game like this, I just feel like such a tourist. I just want to see what there is and just have all those eye candies touch me. This is another one of those locations that I was just like blown away by. I was just like, they did such a great job. Especially, you know, for me having been to Japan, I can't stand it when you feel like they do those, make those cliche locations or those cliche items. And it's like, that's not really Japan. That's more like Japantown in the US somewhere. But if you really want to see real Japan, this is not what it looks like. But in this game, I feel like they really have done their research, or maybe even have been to Japan to kind of see what things look like. And especially, you know, all the plants that exist in Japan, all the foods that you can get. They did a great job. There's still a lot missing, obviously, but I am, again, just very hopeful that this is going to be an absolute fantastic game when it's out. So when you have played Medieval Dynasty as much as I have, I spent like almost 250 hours in Medieval Dynasty and pretty much maxed out everything there. Went to the absolute limits there because I just couldn't stop playing it. It was so amazing. And was sad when it was over. So I was really impatient waiting for this game, and I feel it is in a good state, in a playable state right now. But when you have played Medieval Dynasty, you do feel the roughness of this diamond, and you just long for more. There is a lot of glitches and weird things happening in this game, which are very normal for an early access game. But it can get frustrating when you forget that this is an early access game, and it's easy to forget it because you can have so much fun in this game at the same time as just feeling like empty. And yeah, so this is kind of where this game is right now. If you have enjoyed Medieval Dynasty, I feel like you definitely will enjoy this. But maybe wait a little bit more until they add more stuff to the game. Or if you just want to support the developers, get it now. This is kind of why I did this. So I hope you enjoyed this little video. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and I hope to see you next time. Until then, happy gaming, take care, bye bye.